Welcome everyone to the very first episode of First Generations. I did it this time. No, the name of the show is Next Generation's First Generation.
And that's
a group of people who were all under the age of 10, 30 years ago when Star Trek The Next Generation started. And my co-host, Sascha, and I decided it would be fun to do a watch-along of every episode of Star Trek The Next Generation. I was 5 years old when this episode aired in 1987. We're about to watch Encounter at Farpoint. I'm going to turn things over to Sascha right now.
Yeah, I'm Sascha, so I am the old fart in the room. I'm just a couple of years ahead of Patrick, born in 1979. And I was 8 years old when this came out. The episode aired September 28th, 1987. So that would put me in second grade. And I love this show because it gave me an output. My life really sucked growing up. You know, School of Hard Knocks, socialization, etc., etc. And so I really look forward to tuning into this show and escaping into a brand new world. Now, one thing that you might notice from the very beginning, as Patrick said, this is a watch-along. We're here for fun. We'll be spouting out a lot of Trek facts. We'll get some of it wrong. Feel free to correct us, but we don't really care. We're more interested in the stories, how Trek changed your life for the positive. We're looking for the good and fun things, and we'll be adding a link to the show at the end of the episode, so you can write in and tell us your stories, and maybe we'll share them. One other thing that you'll notice is, as recording goes, I'm a very forgetful person, and sometimes you will hear me call the show by the wrong name. Oh my gosh! So the big joke is the show is called Next Generation's First Generation, and I abbreviate that to First Gen, Next Gen for some reason. So go figure. And then with us we have a guest. This is Gemleen.
Hi. I am otherwise known as Sascha's wife, and I was also 5 when this came out. I was born in May of '82. So I was just about to go into kindergarten, and everything revolved around Punky Brewster and Rainbow Bright and Strawberry Shortcake, and so I was not a Trekkie at the time, and really only came upon Star Trek as an adult.
Oh, so like college adults, high school adults?
I mean, my older brother, who was born in '76, kind of watched it, but it was in the background for me. I was growing up in Germany at the time, and we had one channel in America, the U channel, and I believe it was probably whatever was playing on ADC. So Star Trek didn't come on then. We moved here to the States and didn't really watch it. And then one of my good friends got really obsessed with it in junior high, and I found out a little bit more about it then. But didn't really get immersed into it until I met you when I was 19. So,
wow.
And even then, you know.
Yeah, and I remember just
much.
trying to show you episodes, and you said, you know, Sascha, I just really don't like Star Trek. I'm like, no, wait. Here's an episode here that I know that you'll like.
Here's another one. And, and also, I took American Sign Language in high school, and I think I watched my first full episode of Star Trek back then. I don't remember if it was Next Gen or not, but it was the one with Howie Seago, because it was for my American Sign Language class, and he was doing sign language.
That will be in this season, actually.
Awesome. Yeah, and I did enjoy that one. So, yeah.
Wonderful. Well, so as this being a watch-along, we've queued up on Netflix today. Some episodes will be pulling from the DVD that's low-res, and other times we'll be watching the digitally remastered version from Netflix. So now's your opportunity to queue up your media of choice, and I'm going to give you a quick countdown so you can sync up with us. Encounter at Farpoint. Technically, this is episodes 1 and 2. And here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hey, we're in space. Boogity boogie. We're in space. Boogity boogie.
Are they all eclipsing each other?
Kind of. It's the... We got Jupiter. We got Saturn. Saturn is a model.
No Pluto.
Space.
Team Pluto.
The final frontier.
The most famous split infinitive.
To boldly go. Not coming up yet.
Its continuing mission.
You can really tell this is remastered. Just the colors on this are insane.
That was another split infinitive. Oh, no, not to explore strange new worlds. To boldly go.
Has gone before.
So, I, being a double English major, have studied the split infinitive and, have that be the best example of a split infinitive where you have an adverb in between to and another verb. So, to boldly go, to grudgingly watch Star Trek.
To grudgingly watch.
To grudgingly watch.
Star Trek.
But I think the lesson here, kids, is that love finds a way.
I really like the font. The blue is a really beautiful color. The opening Star Trek font with the split line across the T and the K.
Split line for split infinitive.
I had a George Foreman grill in the same font called The Next Grilleration, which tickled me pink. I loved it.
So when you see that opening ship with the different lights on, can you tell which
Sascha, I'm blue
rooms...
with envy.
Yeah. Can you tell which rooms are on?
Which rooms?
Yeah, like when you see that beginning ship, can you say, oh, well, the light is on in...
No.
Okay.
They eventually did start to do that with ships, but
okay.
Initially that was not something that...
There's the nice 80s synth intro music. Herman Zimmerman produced...
The first name we say after everybody else to do with the show is Herman Zimmerman.
Was he German? I mean, it's a German name, but...
Zimmerman.
Some nice horn work there. It's a beautiful ship. Now, some lights are on, some lights are off, but you really don't know what's going on. They're the escape pods, those little yellow squares on the ship.
And here we meet Picard for the first time.
Dun, dun.
In a poor contrast shot where everything's too dark or too bright. Over the handle, over the shoulder shot. So
Who's that?
that's a full-scale warp core there.
Yes, they do occasionally use a full-scale warp core. Most of the time it is actually a miniature.
And an old school elevator. That doesn't seem to match when he actually gets to the second floor. What happened to that wooden lattice?
Yeah. He could not have actually been going to the bridge from that elevator. That's not where the bridge and engineering are.
Call that a scene cut.
Yeah.
Oh, the turbo lift there is open for some reason in the shot. That's kind of odd.
Somebody must have stuck a dime in there or something.
So they're going to Deneb 4. Do we ever see Deneb 1 through 3?
No, so how they named things in Star Trek was you had a solar system called, let's call it the Steve solar system.
Uh-huh.
And the first planet in the system closest to the star would be Steve 1.
Okay.
Then Steve 2, Steve 3, Steve 4.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
So we would be...
Oh, there's Data. He is quick
It's
to
like,
talk.
get up and answer him.
So Earth would be Milky Way 4.
Earth would be Sol 3.
I thought we were the fourth planet.
Mars is the fourth planet.
Oh, right.
I know,
Mercury, Venus, Earth.
it throws the count off when you remove Pluto
Troy
from the
is
solar
so
system.
confused. I'm sensing a power.
Acting!
It's me, Troy. Just put your hand right here, see?
The
That's what's going
80th
on.
perm ever.
I would call that Troy's poop face.
Yeah.
So whenever she's get a sensing, she might have to visit the
Look at those
bathroom or
And
the
this
head.
high def graphics right there.
Actually,
Looks
that's
a lot better
much
than it
better.
did, yeah.
But if we collide with either, it could be very
Oh,
Thank you.
I forgot about her accent.
Yeah, she's British, but she has a very peculiar accent. I think When I do a Tommy Wiseau from The Room impression, it's basically going to be me making fun of Troy.
It's the weird... It's Transylvanian.
Something's in my lap. Something's in front of me.
It's Transylvanian Russian.
When I was a kid, this really blew me away because the first episode, you're just full of firsts. You see the ship, you see the people, you don't know who the main characters are. Everything's brand new. I just loved it. I loved the wave of this weave force field. It kind of reminded me of a flag.
Oh. See, now that I look at it, and the colors of it, it reminds me of
It's
Greg.
Christopher Columbus!
I had it pointed out to me that it would not be possible to do a full stop in space.
Yeah.
Be very difficult.
Either your engines are on or they're off.
Because there really isn't anything to stop
My
the
name
spaceship,
is Vasco de Gama.
except for a planet.
Christopher Columbus.
Columbus?
Americo Vespucci.
That sounds like a type of cloud. A culumbulus cloud.
Nuts!
I present myself to thee as
Q is just such a great character in this show. The closest thing they got to God.
Yep.
Magic.
And he does not need a starship. It's cold!
You could even see the jets of cold blowing on him.
Medics.
He's frozen.
Yes, that
frozen.
goes without saying.
Would not have injured you. You'll recognize this? A stun setting?
Picard's awfully ballsy with the guy
Yeah.
he just met.
It's an old Nokia phone, isn't it, Captain?
It's like Wally.
So in case you are not watching along and you were just listening, the captain was doing a walking tour of the ship. They're talking about going to Deneb 4. Data tells a joke. Actually, no, he's talking about snooping. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, force field, and Q appears, dressed as Chris Columbus, saying, "You need to go back from where you came from."
Who's it? Captain.
And there's Delancey, what's his name?
John Delancey.
John Delancey.
understand this.
He's a fun
It's got
actor.
some bling on it.
Yeah. Just turned into a general from the World War II era.
Your world and put an end to the commies. All it takes are a few good men.
Smoking on television.
And a weird
You can't deny that you're still a dangerous.
I love how the show,
accent.
the show kind of pokes fun at itself. Picard will say, "You wore costumes like that," and his outfit kind of looks like pajamas.
The arguments about how to divide the resources
Pajamas.
of the world. And 400 years before that, you were murdering each other in quarrels. over
Making a
tribal
bad case for
dominance.
humanity there. You're always killing no matter what.
But even when we wore costumes like that, we'd already started to make rapid progress.
Oh yeah.
It's called regalia, not a costume.
And now he is...
Okay, see, there is also a triangle.
Rapid
That's
progress.
a future soldier from our future, from their past.
The Order of the Triad.
Sickbay reports Lieutenant.
Is that what it is? The Order of the Triad? This
No.
little insignia?
Looks like a gigantic diaper suit.
Permission to clean up the bridge.
Yeah, permission to clean up the bridge.
I can't just stand here and let
Yes, you can, Lieutenant Gao.
Jeez, breaking the rigs pretty early there. For a department head, I'm surprised she just pops off like that.
I'm finally reaching
He's like a little Sony Walkman with a...
And to broaden those struggles, you again found allies.
Well, let me just put this 3/4 jack in my nose. Technically, that's supposed to be drugs.
Drugs, drugs, drugs.
Is the one we're meeting now.
Drugs, drugs, drugs.
Forms were eager
Ask your mom. Ask your dad.
to
Drugs,
prosecute,
drugs.
to judge anything they don't understand or can't tolerate.
What an interesting idea. Prosecute and judge. Suppose it turns out we understand you humans only too well.
Yeah, Q's funny.
No idea what the true fact
He allows his victims to create their own narrative.
Yep.
Splendid, Captain. You're a very
He just reacts to their response like, "Oh, a judge? Okay, we are going to have a trial now."
We'll proceed exactly as you suggest.
That insignia on his
Give me a
head.
minute to get ready.
The,
Here we
insi-
go, freshen up.
Sir,
the insignia on his outfit there reminded me of the Triforce. There's Worf's burlap sash.
Recommend you avoid contact.
Yeah. Don't pick at it, Captain. It could get infected.
No station for any reason will make use of transmitted signal from intercom.
So,
We'll try and take them by surprise.
somehow Picard is going to surprise Q
Inform engine room to prepare for maximum
by
acceleration.
not having use of the comm system to move the ship.
Inadvisable at any warp speed.
I
sir.
don't
Search
understand,
your angle.
but okay.
It is possible, but absolutely no margin.
Q didn't say where he was from, did he?
Using printer
Never
Not-
did.
by all decks.
No margin.
Now hear this. Maximum your
We don't really know about the continuum until maybe about 10 episodes, 12 episodes in, when they try to recruit Riker to become a Q. Until then, we always assumed that.
No, that's the... of the 12 episodes of the show. I was like,
Yeah.
I think that's the second episode with Q.
Okay, so we're down the elevator again. Looks like a mattress with handrails.
I wouldn't use it. I'd ride it. I wouldn't use the rails either.
Hey, a Vulcan!
Yeah.
Yay! They make an appearance.
Engine room ready, sir.
Forward short screen, Captain. All go.
Wow. I didn't know Counselor could determine if a ship was ready to depart.
She holds the rank of Lieutenant Commander.
Hey, there you go. Everybody falls over to the left.
That looks...
And they just borrowed that shot from the opening scene and superimposed their force field on it. Trumpets! Trumpets!
Yeah.
Trumpets!
Some great music here.
Who's the composer?
Oh, what is the guy's name?
Velocity warp.
He won an Emmy for this show, but he only did it for 3 seasons. They got fired at the beginning of season 4.
Huh.
It's heavy on that.
This was directed by Corey Allen, written by D.C. Fontana, and Gene Roddenberry. The featured music is Dennis McCarthy.
Is that who it is?
Yep.
So,
I'm getting this information today from Wikipedia, but another great place for information is Memory Alpha.
Consider a life form.
Beyond.
Very, very advanced, sir, or certainly very, very...
So we're getting Diana's first cold read.
Is it Diana or Deanna?
it's Deanna.
Deanna. That's my mistake. Just like how some people say Star Trek,
Well,
I say Diana.
yeah, I say D can die.
Reverse angle.
Wah!
Whoa, they can look behind them? That's a high-tech ship.
Are you a good witch or a bad witch?
Flaming ball of something.
Hudson velocity is 9.7.
Something's flaming. Isn't that right, Tasha?
Denise Crosby.
Fine, sir, but they caution us. Go to yellow alert. Arm out photon torpedoes. Place them on ready stand.
Yellow alert means I stand, not sit.
Everybody type faster at the consoles!
Don't worry, they won't explode unless we bump something.
While to fire torpedoes, you must do at least 1,000 button clicks a minute.
9.8 what? 9.8 warp?
Yes.
Okay.
So they're going not the 9.8 power to the 10th speed of light, if I remember correctly.
So when does the tachometer go into the red?
At warp 10.
Warp 10,
That's the
okay.
barrier. You cannot go over warp 10 apparently, except for a couple of episodes where they do. So when you look at warp speed, it was explained to me it was kind of like the Richter scale. So
Okay.
warp 1 would be the speed of light. Warp 2 would be 10 times the speed of light. Warp 3 is...
100 times.
Yeah, exactly. So it always go up by a factor power.
There's the, I can tell my kids I was on Star Trek guy at the helm. And his buddy.
We've actually seen a few of these extras in a couple of episodes.
Command to the battle bridge.
Love the battle bridge. There's the ship.
There it sure is.
Log started.
Doing a...
Delicious blue ice cream sandwiches for,
Preparing to detach some-
Oh, the gender fluid outfits. I love
The
them.
ship's company can seek relative safety.
one of those kids looks like he was coming from karate class.
Battle bridge and main armaments.
And all the civilians are wearing sarongs. Oh, there's Cole Meany, my favorite actor on the show.
Mine too, I like that guy.
Couple more Vulcans.
Yeah, you're right. Karate
Yeah.
class. This security guard here, I've got to get his name. At first I thought he was just in one episode, but he's been through the entire season 1.
What?
Yeah.
Does he always just
We'll have
wave people in? He's the usher?
You think he has anything better to do than be a guest in one of these episodes? If we can get him on Skype.
that would be great.
Ooh.
You know, if his name's in the credits, boy, I would love to get him.
I wonder how old he would be by now.
30 years older than he is now, or possibly 31.
So
He
he
looks
looked
pretty young.
he looked like in his early 20s, so he's
Yeah.
probably pushing about 50 or 60 right
Yeah.
now.
That would be awesome.
The battle bridge looks pretty freaking cool.
3, 2, 1.
Blast off! I always wanted to say that.
So when they're there, who's in the other bridge?
We just saw him sit down.
So there's a...
Oh, right. Yeah, the change of the guard or
Yeah.
whatever. Okay.
So they've got this orchestrated to a science, and it's really cute. Whenever someone just up and leaves their station, a magical replacement just kind of comes out of nowhere from stage left or right and sits in the seat.
Now this music here is a combination of the original Alexander Courage theme and the Jerry Goldsmith theme for Star Trek: The Motion Picture.
And something big is happening right now.
Goodbye,
They are
Bridge.
separating.
Yeah.
Watch what our new ship can do. This is definitely not the original series.
Everybody looks completely in awe that it worked.
Diana, you can breathe.
Show your surprise face.
Later on, they'll be in much worse situations than this, and will not do this with the ship.
You know, I was watching a few episodes ahead, and they do separate in the episode where they encounter the automated weapons sales planet. Do you recall this one?
Whoa.
I have not watched a whole lot of episode 1.
That was some good stuff, man.
Torpedoes have detonated.
Getting good visuals.
Come to a stop.
One of the things that I really wish they had done in this show is kind of balanced out their production quality, because they spent a lot of time and money to make something look really good, and they realized, oh, we have a whole bunch of other effects to do. Hey, let's blow some things up in the parking lot and videotape it. And that kind of bummed me out, even as a kid. I was just like, oh, come on.
Position. And wait for
That will bring
But
the
you
unit
can't do that. You can't come to a dead stop in space.
Relative, please.
If we can at least damage their ship, we have a chance.
Are you recommending that we fight a life form that can do all those things?
Yes, I
Who
am.
knows what else it can do besides?
I'd like to hear your advice.
After you just put her down, you want to listen to her.
Ah, yes.
I
Picard is
spoke
such
with
an
Fulton.
asshole in this episode.
We should look for some way to distract them from
Well,
the
in the first season, he's not a very compassionate person. He's in charge.
I can't stand him. It's not the Picard that, that I had in my mind. Because everybody just likes Picard so much. He is my favorite captain.
Commander, signal the following in all languages and on all frequencies. We surrender.
Wow.
Ooh.
Look
Now, how disappointed Colmini is.
I thought I had a whole career in front of me. I guess we're only going for the pilot. Patrick Stewart actually thought that the show wasn't going to last more than a couple of episodes. He didn't actually unpack his suitcase until maybe about the 7th or 8th episode in, from what I heard.
So all languages and all frequencies. How do they ever come upon somebody that their language translator or whatever just never...
Not on this show. They do on DS9.
Okay. So it'll be interesting to see how they deal with that.
So apparently, this show utilized some of the existing sets and props from Star Trek, from the Star Trek films, and the original series, and Star Trek Phase 2, which, do you recall it?
Star Trek Phase 2 was a show that went into production but never was made.
Huh. And it was before this?
Yes.
Just about the same time in the 80s?
No, it was predated Star Wars.
And we're channeling Breakfast at Tiffany's here with the racist makeup.
Wait, what? Oh.
Remember when they dressed up that white dude? And
this Mickey Rooney.
Yeah.
My favorite is the midget white dwarf dressed as an Asian guy.
Yeah.
I don't understand it. I'm confused.
Careful, sir.
They decided to bring in the cast from the Hunger Games.
Wow, her skirt is really riding up there.
Yeah.
Don't get up too fast.
Don't uncross your legs. Keep them crossed.
Oh, the power of the gun, it frightens us.
Ignore the forklift. Don't pay
More
attention
staring
to
in
it.
There's a
awe.
light over in that hallway down there.
There's a lot of looking in this
There's a
episode.
light, lighting up the guy in that chair.
Hey, I know you.
There's
Weren't you
a
just Christopher
light,
Columbus?
a light.
At least we're acquainted with the judge, Captain.
Oh, is that who that is? All right. I thought this was another thing. Where's the fifth guy that was on the bridge with us? Could we not afford to pay him?
Those
for this?
carvings on either side of his throne look very, very sexual.
They're Q's throne weasels.
That's what they're calling them these days.
They judge you.
These are my throne weasels.
So, for those of you who are not watching along, Q has transported the crew into a 21st, 22nd century courtroom, and
Yes.
Tasha is kicking butt.
And there was a very excited Ricky Lake cast member there that did a little jig when Sascha kicked that guy.
Okay, gotta get high.
Oh.
And everybody's happy. Jerry!
Yeah.
Jerry! Jerry! Well, that would have been about the same time.
The prisoners will not
They had Jerry Springer back then. In 87?
No.
Maybe? No.
Not on national TV. He was, in 1987, Jerry Springer, I think, was the mayor of Minneapolis.
Right.
Oh. Maybe Star Trek helped him out with that idea.
Yeah.
He watched this like, I could make a show off of this set.
So they're dressed almost medievally, but it's supposed to be in our future.
Before this gracious court.
Oh, so to help you out with this, Jim, so Q has the ability to pluck people from the reality and put them into little realities, like this courtroom here.
If I may, Captain.
And Data's about to explain.
Objection, Your Honor.
Bell is serving
In the year
as gavel.
2036, the new United Nations declared that no Earth citizen could be made to answer for the
So
crimes of his
we're
race
guessing
or
this is a
Objection
court
denied.
of the 2040s, 2050s?
2079.
2079.
It would be the 100th anniversary, wedding anniversary of my parents.
Oh.
Oh.
I must, because I grew up in a world that allowed things like this court. And it was people like these that saved me from it. This
Acting.
so-called court should get down on its knees.
Oh, you're
to
so
what
mad.
it is, what it represents.
Oh.
Don't freeze me, bro!
There's that weird little black shadow around. It almost looks like you're looking through a little toilet paper tube.
I love her. Straight as a board, light as a feather routine there.
She's so cold. Why would you do this to her?
Close your knees. Close your knees. Is she taking a pee right there? I think she might be. There's a great...
There's-
Captain, I'm
Yeah.
frightened. If this happens to me, they will be able to see everything.
You will answer the charges, criminal. What? Of this? Death. No worse.
See right there, it doesn't even look like she has a skirt.
Yeah.
Nothing so long as you break your own rules.
The original concept with Captain Picard it was actually Julian Picard, and he would lapse into a French accent whenever he became emotional.
Well, luckily we got Julian Bashir instead, who was a much more dynamic.
And Robert Picardo, who was playing the Doctor, in an interview he said that he got that job because his name was Picardo. And they told him, we need the name recognition, so...
That's funny.
Yeah, kind of forgive his career in acting.
That sounds kind of apocryphal. Robert Picardo was a known entity at that time.
So Tasha is back to life, and the crowd is not happy.
Robert Picardo, before he was on Voyager, had played the Swamp Hag in Legend and Coach Cutlip in The Wonder Years.
Really?
Oh!
Yeah.
Love that show.
Yeah.
Continuing these proceedings, I must caution you that legal trickery is not permitted. This is a court of fact.
We humans know our past, even when we're ashamed of it.
Apparently, LeVar Burton was working on another pilot for a series called Emergency Room.
That line from Shakespeare. Kill all the lawyers,
Which was done.
leading to the rule guilty until proven innocent.
Of course.
Yeah, it's funny. There was actually a show in the mid-'70s called ER that had, nothing to do with the ER of the 90s, other than that it took place in the ER.
Full disclosure of human.
So, when I first watched this episode was tough to watch because I've been watching the promos for a few months that the show was coming. I was familiar with the original series. I enjoyed a lot of other sci-fi that was out there at the time. Battlestar Galactica, campy movies like Ice Pirates, Star Wars, and a lot of television sci-fi that was syndicated on Saturday mornings. And I thought, great, this is another show to watch. And I like the ship shots, I like the action scenes, but then you would have 10 minutes of dialogue. And it put me to
do we
sleep.
think Data could deflect a bullet if he got shot at point blank range in the head by one of their stupid guns?
Boy, I don't know.
Too bad they didn't try.
There's that fuzzy block again.
So they have a couple of point of view shots here
That's
where
because it wasn't shot tight like that. It was re-edited to make it look like it was shot tight.
yeah, and it created some artifacts around the top edges, probably in the very corner of the film. Yeah, there
Read
it
your
is.
mother.
Guilty.
Oh! Orf with his head. Orf with it, I say.
Orf?
Provisionally.
Orf. That's my accent.
The court will hear the provision.
Turn Orf the light.
We question whether this court is abiding by its own trial instructions.
I wouldn't mind having a nice pair of red leather gloves, I tell you
There'll be
what.
no legal trickery.
These will be your own words.
I bet you he was so hot in that outfit.
I was just thinking
Yeah.
that because it looks heavy.
So, if you've ever worn leather, you know it's
Captain asked
it's
the
hot
question.
stuff.
Can we assume you mean this will be a fair trial?
Data! Their own voices. Look at that pad behind him.
Judge stated.
Did you see that?
Mm-mm.
The original iPad, right there.
Irrelevant testimony.
The bailiff is holding a pad with some numbers and text on it.
All right. We agree there is evidence to support the court's contention that humans have been savage. Therefore,
Picard's eyebrows look gigantic in that shot.
Eyebrows on fleek.
True of humans.
They're like mine, these bushy little animals hanging out at the top of his
So you
forehead.
petition the court to accept you and your comrades as proof of what humanity has become.
There must be many ways we can.
So
contest.
humanity is on trial,
We have a
but
long mission ahead of us.
I never really understood the charges.
They're a savage race.
Yes.
Requires a long mission.
We
Your
talked about it
destination offers
earlier.
far more
Oh, the
challenge.
dialogue.
Just like the BFG tells Sophie in the book, the BFG, even the most poisonous snakes do not kill each other. Humans are the only animals that do that.
respectfully stand.
I mean, you can get other animals to kill each other, but that's
This
very
court is
human.
adjourned.
To allow the criminals to be tested.
I don't know.
This honorable court is adjourned.
mating animals will tend to kill each other all the
Stand
time.
respectfully.
What about praying mantises?
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, that's the point.
A nice little after-sex snack. Your
I don't think. I was gonna say I don't think bears kill each other, but then all those polar bears that eat their young have been eating their young because of the
enough to deal with what lies ahead.
melting of the ice caps.
Aww.
It's really, yeah.
So the challenge has been cast down. Q said that you are on trial for being a savage race, and Picard said, let us test ourselves. They've been thrown back onto the battle bridge. Everyone's looking confused.
Colm didn't notice anything had happened.
He's just like, yeah, whatever.
1 minute you were there, 1 minute you were there.
You're all just standing? That's not a problem.
It's been all along, sir. Correct, heading to Farpoint Station.
But I'm a drinking man.
We are on that heading, sir.
Scotch.
Join me
Neat.
at Farpoint Station, sir. Sounds like a fairly dull place. We've heard that we may find it rather interesting.
Well, excuse me for breathing. I'm going to turn off my console now.
To heartily drink like no man has drunk before.
Oh, the remastered planets are so beautiful. Atmosphere, continents, and then you have this
Bling.
map.
Yeah. Like blinking coming off the station.
Looks like they borrowed some red lights from a Klingon ship.
I feel like if, in hindsight, they would make Riker a lot more heroic of an entrance. Where he's like got to fight a guy to get where he's going.
Luxurious. More like it. Good.
Apparently Roddenberry handpicked Jonathan Frakes for Riker.
Huh.
Well, I mean, he's kind of the Kirk of the show.
Fascinating, the advanced materials.
Yeah, I never thought about that, but he
Well,
totally is.
they established in the show that the captain doesn't really leave the ship, so they needed a guy to leave the ship to kiss and have sex with all the aliens. And I always believed that Roddenberry had Kirk do these things because he couldn't do them himself. He's like, he just wrote in a hypersexual male lead to live out his fantasies.
There's an owl. Sorry. Oh, it doesn't matter. What I was saying was...
Well, I'll be darned.
There's some more apples right there.
Shiny.
another selection.
Looks like wax apples, but then he takes a bite.
Robert, I could have sworn this wasn't here a minute ago.
Well,
Did your failure to notice it make it unwelcome?
Oh, breaking out some philosophy.
yeah.
Will be the same with Farpoint Station.
Oh, I'm wrong. Roddenberry's favorite for Riker was Jonathan Frakes, who went through 7 editions before he claimed the role.
Huh.
Despite the second choice actor from the casting team, he was hired after the first choice was unimpressive in his editions. Well, that's cool.
You have been told not to take that. Why can't you understand? It will arouse
Are you talking to the building?
And if that happens, we will have to punish you.
Someone's gonna get to hurt real bad.
Thank you, Russell Peters.
What a campy looking model. But they're consistent with it because in the first Next Generation movie where they crashed the Enterprise. I remember the set being a practical set there as well, and it looked just...
That was weird. There were kids climbing that tree.
Will Wheaton.
It's just not the kind of tree you climb. It's really good. Yeah.
Oh, he's so short.
Paper tree.
Yeah.
You know, that actor really went through a growth
He
spurt.
did, and I feel like they also did some tinting with Beverly's hair, too.
Yeah.
Because there's a very unnatural shade of red on the...
Yeah.
There you have the classic 80s on a tilt shelving in the background.
The Joanne Fabrics of Farpoint.
My cousin had one of those shelves, and when I saw the shelf in the set, I'm like, oh my gosh, that's Brigitta's shelf!
Oh!
We are living in the future now!
Oh, but wait.
Oh.
It has gold, like I said it would look nice with.
Boy, you really did want to lock in the 80s there with that
They should
pattern.
ask for some less mundane things and see what happens.
It's a completely different shade of purple and a completely different material.
Yeah, so she commented that this would be nicer if, and then magically it appeared. Wesley's mean mugging the locals there.
I was accusing you of inventing work in order to curry favor with our new captain. I apologize. Mom?
Will Wheaton?
That gold pattern was...
Will Wheaton? Will Wheaton? Will Wheaton?
With a fantastically 80s baggy sweater.
You know the captain.
Yes. And what is the story with the captain?
He brought my father's body home to me.
Instead of the hospital.
So even though Will Wheaton was called back, he perceived the audition as terrible when he first interviewed for the show.
See you on board.
Yes, sir.
He'll always have Stand By Me.
Enterprise is arriving.
Now, he had just finished Stand By Me when this came
I
out.
believe so, yeah.
Lieutenant LaForge reporting the Enterprise arriving, but without the saucer sections.
Star drive section only. What happened?
And here was the most popular, well-known person in the cast at the time, I would say. LeVar
Yeah.
Burton.
LeVar Burton was a huge draw to get a lot of kids to watch the show who were Reading Rainbow fans like me. It was basically kind of a stamp to our parents that this was safe because LeVar wouldn't associate himself with something that was inappropriate for kids.
So originally, Wesley was to be a female named Leslie Crusher. 15-year-old girl with a photographic memory.
That would have been really cool.
Yeah.
I would have watched that.
Although it was quickly changed to a male teenager called Wesley, which we know. Roddenberry thought that there would be a greater number of storylines available if the character was male, and that kind of...
That's lame sauce.
That's Roddenberry's universe,
yeah, I know, his
though.
excuse is lame sauce.
Something interesting happened on the way here.
Battle Bridge.
Yeah, I never understood Roddenberry's sense of feminism, because in a world where all barriers are removed, there's still a lot of sexist tones in the first couple of seasons.
Riker WT reporting his orders, sir.
I'm not going to look
That's
at you.
great.
You were ready.
Right up.
All set up, sir.
We'll first bring you up to date on a little adventure we had on our way here, Commander.
We are not interested in talking to you or looking at you. Just go over there, do your work, and come back. Oh, how you doing?
Oh, he's a man? Thought you were going to be a masculine woman. It's kind of why I sent Yard out to get you. Thought you might have something to talk about.
So we have a clip show for Riker because we don't believe in briefings.
Who shot this, Captain? The editing's awful.
Honestly, I think they just needed to fill 3 minutes of space.
Message for the saucer module, sir. It will arrive here in 51 minutes.
Inform them we'll connect as soon as they arrive, and send the commander to me when he's finished.
Yes, sir.
And 400 years before that, we're murdering each other in quarrels over
Is this like when you go to a museum and there's a little room where they show a video about the exhibit and there's like...
The diorama.
Yeah.
And then, while they're talking, things light
Yeah.
up around the room.
And here's how we made it. A couple in British Columbia who owns a tiny knife store. They died while we were filming this.
calls that a little adventure.
So we actually don't realize that Cole Meany gets the name Miles O'Brien until season 2.
Huh.
In Lonely Among Us.
I didn't pick up before Riker addressed the camera. He calls that a little adventure thing.
Seem we're alive only because we have been placed on probation. Very serious kind of probation. Let's go.
The saucer module now entering orbit with us, sir.
Acknowledge.
You want to see some cool shit?
Commander Riker will conduct a manual docking. Picard out. Sir? You reported it in, haven't you? You are qualified? Yes, sir. Then I mean now, Commander.
Interestingly enough, TV Guide said that this pilot was a worthy successor to the original, which I thought was interesting.
So, this whole manual docking thing, it's like, what?
Yes, sir. No automation. As always.
How would automation work? I mean,
Well, the automation, it would tell you how fast you're coming in. It might recommend turn left, turn right, or make the adjustments for you.
Data can do all that.
Data is automation.
Yeah.
Hey, wait a minute.
Yeah, exactly.
Is it possible for Data to manually do anything? I don't think so, because he is automated.
Velocity to 1/2 meter per second.
Yeah, so when I think about Next Generation, I don't think of the original series. I almost kind of ignore it. Like, that was just, we don't talk about that, it's not so great. I didn't enjoy it as a kid, though I was really not into the cowboy space western.
So this was the second Star Trek series then? This came directly after the original series?
Not
Bingo.
direct.
Yeah, 21 years later.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think, well, when was the last episode of the original series? In the 60s. So
It ran from 66 to 68, I want to say.
So we had just about a 20-year gap between shows.
That's significant.
Yeah, and they throw in a couple of motion pictures. So how many motion
the
pictures?
The fourth movie had come out the year that this show was on.
Oh, the one with the whales.
Yes.
That was a fun one.
It was.
Thrusters to station keeping. All velocities.
When that came out, I had already realized, hey, why is it every other one of these is good? So like Wrath of Khan, good. The whales one was good. The other two's just blue.
Search for Spock is actually a good movie.
Had Christopher Lloyd.
Yeah.
Ooh.
He was a Klingon. The ship is complete!
Click in place.
Yeah, you did good.
Okay, so I kind of missed it, but why did they separate?
To basically...
Get away from the Q bubble.
To
The
confuse
little
Q.
good witch, bad witch bubble that they sent after the ship.
Oh, okay, that's right.
But it's a good-looking ship.
And so the two pieces of the ship were reunited. Q saw it and decided it was good. Later, we discovered something about Farpoint. But that's a tale for another story.
Would you like some tea? Oh no, I'm sorry. There's only one cup here.
I do have some questions for you, however.
I figured you would.
I see in your file that Captain DeSoto thinks very highly of you. One curious thing, however...
So I didn't understand why Riker's going through a second interview for some reason.
In my opinion, Sir Altair 3 was too dangerous to risk exposing.
Because he'd never met Picard at all.
But Picard did choose Riker.
Yeah. But they never had a face-to-face interview.
Oh, you can see his hair coming, like his chest hair coming out of the top of his uniform.
You want a chesty?
Without knowing whether it's safe to beam down or not. Seems a little presumptuous of a first officer to second guess.
It's one of my favorite rooms, the observation lounge. It's a calm, relaxing place.
Always.
Bullshit.
Having been a first officer yourself.
I never trust a supervisor who says you can speak your mind.
Uh-huh.
Right.
This is
Don't-
going on your file
Yeah.
later.
Don't think of me as a boss. Think of me as your buddy, John Luke.
From that position. No, sir. One further thing. Anything, sir? Using the same strength you showed with Captain DeSoto, I would appreciate it if you would keep me from making an ass of myself with children.
The
That's
Washington,
a very creepy request.
Yeah. The Washington Post said that Patrick Stewart was a grim, bald crank who would make a better villain.
I
So being a
I
kid,
hope to live to be a grimbald crank.
You're to see, that's what I project.
being a kid watching that and hearing Captain Picard say, "I'm not really a kid, man." Like, did that make you think any less of the captain?
No, because I didn't see this episode until I was about 12.
Okay.
Picard has an equal level of sternness with, like, Mr. Rogers. And he does smile, and he's like, sometimes, he's basically like, sometimes it's serious, but there's still enough, sometimes it's fun
Okay.
in him that I felt comfortable with him, like a stern teacher that actually cares about you.
Okay.
That's kind of how I felt about Picard.
And when I was a child, I associated better with adults than other kids. So, I mean, I was perfectly okay with strong male figures in the show. I think that's probably why I was attracted to so many of the characters as role models. Because I couldn't stand kids. In fact, that's one of the reasons why I didn't like Wesley in the show, because he's just another jerk.
Let's put this 80s tooth headband on you.
Yeah, so this is one of my favorite scenes from the show because it starts going to the back history of the supporting characters. I didn't understand that LeVar was, I should say Geordi, was actually a regular character on the show. It's just they picked a guy and started talking about his
Great
past.
shot of Riker coming on the bridge. This should have been Riker's introduction here.
Yeah.
Instead of the diplomatic setting. And, oh my gosh, there's apples.
Where will I find Commander Data? Commander Data is on special assignment, sir.
It's a beautiful bridge. Lots of room. Kind of echoey.
It was, the kind of the opposite wall of my childhood living room on Saturday nights. You just looked in, and there was the bridge of the Enterprise. It was safe. It was well lit. And now we will pause for a quick break. And
we're going to do intermission at 45 minutes into the series here, just when we see Admiral DeForest Kelly here kind of passing the torch. So we are going to pause our recording here, and we'll get back to you. We're going to eat some pizza and get back to you. Welcome back. We are back from our intermission. We have our pizza, we have our coffee, we have our bourbon. Woohoo! And we're going to watch the second half of Encounter Farpoint. For those of you who are a little lost and disoriented, don't be. We are at 45 minutes and 30 seconds. Or the scene where Data talks to Mr.
Admiral,
drumroll please, McCoy! Oi, 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 oi,
hurrah! They're still recording on that second track there, Sascha.
That's okay.
Okay.
So, one of the things I forgot to mention in the show is that we are learning how to do a podcast. So we've got probably about 7 episodes under our belt. We've been kind of recording these out of order, so you might notice some really good ones and some really bad ones. But of course, there's a learning process on how to do a podcast. So thank you for bearing with us. And
You're still here. It means you're a special friend of ours.
Yay, special friend! Okay, so we are going to hit play in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Sir, I thought you shouldn't have to put up with the time and trouble.
You're going to pull on some bourbon? Let me tell you, Sonny, the world is a scary place. Don't need no more white-faced, yellow-eyed mutants crawling out of the woodwork, going wiggly-biggly all over the place.
I'm only used to the pointy ears.
I lived Star Trek. I ate Star Trek. I breathed Star Trek.
So he's 137.
That's my goal, is to be 139.
Yeah.
So, Admiral Kelly here. Not Kelly. Bones. Yeah. Admiral Bones.
Admiral Bones. Dem Bones, Dem Bones, Dem Dry Bones.
Why do they call him Bones?
Well, Bones was Dr. McCoy's nickname in the original series.
It's called Dr. Sawbones.
And I don't understand why they have him here other than to do a pass on. Oh, look, they left the door open on the set. You can see some equipment in the back.
Oh!
Damn annoying.
He's still got his old pants. Now, he made 2 more Star Trek movies, and he looked a heck of a lot better than this in those movies.
Well, he's got the I have hemorrhoids walk down pat. With the stiff, wide open gate.
That's odd that he would...
He has old person elbow patches.
It's odd that Data does not react shockingly to the she'll always bring it you home, because the Enterprise is Data's home.
Yes.
Data doesn't have any other physical concept of home other than being on the Enterprise.
A great ship there, Excelsior class. Pulling away. Seems like there should be a journal entry here, but there's not. Very good on the digital remaster.
Signal the hood, Commander Riker. Your exact message.
Hell, French.
You're wasting time.
He's like, I'm not his friend.
You think I was gone?
What? Worf! Don't blow up the viewer. You silly person.
Silly Klingon. Tricks are for
The purpose
kids.
of this is to test humans, Your Honor. We must proceed in our own way.
Wow. There's a big change in Picard. He would not give, whether he was on a Trial or not, he would never in the future refer to Q as Your Honor.
Sorry, sir.
Wow. Yeah, true.
But futilely.
Well, it's before he really knew who Q was.
Yeah.
Sir. Of course you will. We have a long voyage ahead of us.
So there begins the tense relationship of Picard and Worf. A very subtle and never mentioned relationship till the final episode, where Worf will usually do a gut reaction because of an insult to honor. Picard has to correct him and belittle him, and then set him back in line to make Worf feel bad that he acted out.
But Picard's going to do Worf more than a solid later on.
True.
Picard goes above and beyond for Worf on this show.
Well, wasn't he technically his lawyer for a couple episodes? So there we go. Oh, there's Livingston the fish.
But it's about all that this world does offer.
And it's your belief that this
There's Picard's crystal in his hand right now.
Is that a crystal? That's not a crystal.
I think it is.
We have to
Maybe.
assume they
The lights don't work on the set. Look at that.
construction materials used here.
Huh.
According to our ship's scan.
What's the
many of
significance of a
materials used are not
crystal?
found
See,
in this world.
newbie, I had no
Matt,
idea.
our friend Matt sent us a message saying that Picard holds a crystal in 78 episodes while he's talking in his ready room.
Huh.
And we'd never noticed it before.
And nobody ever says anything about it.
So I believe that that's what he's holding right now as he's talking to Riker.
That's a pretty fish.
It is a pretty
Pretty
fish.
done. I'm looking forward to meeting this Groppler Zorn.
I have a feeling.
Yeah, don't get too excited about Groppler Zorn. It's kind of a well-tread character.
Over here. I've asked the counselor to join us in this meeting.
Oh no! It's my ex!
And this is another thing that they'll try forever to make sense of her reaction to seeing him like this. But from all we know about her character later on, she would not hit Riker like this, because she is so critical of her mother for doing the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
And the only time that they actually communicate mentally.
The two of you met before.
Deanna has a really bad habit of
Excellent.
leading Riker on, and he takes it like a champ too. He's always her friend.
They both came out winners in the end, I
Yep.
think.
Well, honestly, I think that Riker did a good job with the friend zone category. He friend zoned her because there were a number of episodes where she lost her inhibitions and she came running to him. Granted, it was usually like alien drunk mind blow, or
Well, it's not just friend zone, he's her boss.
yeah, that's true. He's the XO.
He's her boss, and she kind of approached him with like,
No objections.
remember how it used to be?
Why did she call him Imzadi? What's
That
Imzadi?
was their kind of word for the bond they had together.
Pet name.
She can call him Imzadi, and he can call her Imzadi.
They
You'll
had
see it
that.
later on.
They had that with the Bajorans as well.
Bajorans.
The Bajorans. What did they use? Adami? So like those little soy nuts?
Yeah.
Edamame?
Edamame?
When he said Bajorans, I was like, Bajorans.
There's a drinking game I played once in Deep Space Nine. In the early episodes, they say Bajoran all the time. And so every time they said Bajoran, I would just take a shot. In the first episode, I remember Kira saying, "That Cardassian's firing on a Bajoran ship in Bajoran space next to a Bajoran space station." And I'm like, really? I'm almost done with my drink here. And you haven't
She's
got
having a baby shower. We should give her a Bajoran.
Do you want it described here, sir?
Yes.
Oh,
No secrets here.
Troy is
Oh, she's
spilling it
feeling
all.
the feels.
There's a ton of secrets.
So she's gonna make the poop squinty face?
You'd think that if he
So
could
much
do
pain.
all this stuff that he says that he could do, that he wouldn't. This is Groppler Zorn I'm talking about. He would try to look like a crazy wizard. I mean, he's not doing a good job of looking trustworthy.
No, not at all. And he's supposed to be the executive in charge of everything. Well, chalk it up to cultural differences.
I'm not sensing Groppler's
What one culture's put together is the other culture's tore down.
Truth.
Very close to us here.
Something very close to us. Blah, 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 blah.
I have no idea why she's feeling this way in my office. I thought we were here to talk about something else.
And that's it. No other comment.
Well, what do you expect of us? We offer you a base designed to your needs.
Honestly, this is a very legitimate reaction.
Evading even our simplest questions.
His reaction?
Yeah.
We'll adjourn for now.
You come into this meeting, you bring your empath in, the empath says something's wrong, and now you're accusing me of something? What's going on?
Well, I mean, this does create a precedent on the show that's kind of cool, is that anybody that is worried that the Enterprise might not trust them will immediately go, oh, Picard's sitting there on the bridge with his telepath.
Picard's telepath.
This gets around, yeah.
This is where Riker gets customer serviced.
You must be new to these Galaxy class.
You must be new around here. You're dumb. Here's how you find
If you stood on tiptoes, I could walk under you.
Located in holodeck area 4J. And as you can
I like the holodeck as a kid.
4J? Well, what do you say?
You're welcome, sir.
Hey, in the 4J. Oh, she just gave him elevator eyes.
Yeah.
She was good looking. There are a lot of hotties on the show, I must say.
Commander Riker. And if you care to enter, Commander.
And the magic wallpaper was always really neat, that you could just touch a surface.
Come out, wherever you are.
Gummy bears!
Bouncing here and there and
everywhere. Quick, look out for Toadie! This is also where they filmed a lot of the Bajoran monastery scenes in this park.
Oh, okay.
This is, I believe, in California. It is a nice set.
How does the door open back up?
Well, right now he's in front of a green screen.
Yeah. And transition.
No, he's not.
No, he's not. And you can actually see when they show the other side of the riverbank, you can see what looks like a wall or a barrier right there for production. There's probably a parking lot there in real life. They had to throw up some plywood.
Some smoke.
Oh, that's a loose rock! Don't do it!
We should have one of them, be a hippo and one of them's an alligator. I mean, they don't really get video game etiquette.
I was just thinking that, yeah. Like, they should be alive.
There's a dragon tied to the tree on the other side. I made it.
Oh, Data. I love Data. Data was always close to my heart, because he'd be doing little things like this.
Give a little whistle.
Just put your lips together and blow.
Which, incidentally, give a little whistle foreshadows Riker's comment about him later on. Because that was Pinocchio's.
That's
song.
Right.
Down on the planet, the captain once answered. He suggested I take you with me on the away team that I'll be leading. I should endeavor to function adequately.
So they haven't nailed down Data's character yet, so he actually shows a lot of emotion.
Yes.
Wonder of a child, I believe. Yar specifically calls him out on that.
Yes, sir. A wise procedure, sir, always. Then your rank of lieutenant commander is honorary. No, sir. Starfleet class of 78, honors and probability.
Class of 78?
That is a weird number just to throw out.
Yeah.
I don't know if they've built this.
Be honest, yes.
Although, I imagine on Earth they do use actual dates, and in space they use star dates.
From what I read, planets use their local date system, but everyone uses the star date because it's the same no matter where you go.
Intriguing.
No matter where you go, you are.
So, because Starfleet operates in space and you go to the Academy, everything's going to be in Stardate time rather than local time. Just like here, in your civilian life, you're using standard time, and then in your military life, you use military time. So, would that mean that I'm the class of 30.2?
If the transporters can convert our bodies to an energy beam, then back to the original pattern. Yes, of course.
So they're explaining how the holodeck works.
Correct, sir.
What I don't like is they actually find the wall of the
We're right next to it.
wall.
Because,
of
what
the
I
holodeck.
always imagined is that you would be... you'd only be walking a couple of feet at any given point, and it would just move things around to make it look like you were moving.
It's like a treadmill. And so
Yes.
when he throws that holographic rock against the wall, wouldn't it just project into the wall?
It would make the rock, the physicality of the rock would disappear, and you'd look and see it disappearing.
There's Wesley.
Whoa!
Ha ha ha!
I'll get you!
How deep was the water supposed to be?
Rescue 911. Lift.
Yeah.
Wow. Golly, Mr. Data! Meanwhile, on the ship.
That guy's walking. There goes the captain. Do I want to go down there? No, I want to go... Oh. Hello, everyone.
Very good, Commander.
Are you peeing on the floor?
Sir, maybe I should get something to wipe this butter up.
Maybe you should.
Yes, a towel will fix your clothes. God, he's an idiot.
He's already wearing a towel.
Yeah. I'll have to speak up. I'm wearing a towel.
There's a low gravity gymnasium.
And another towel.
It'd be hard to get.
We've never seen the low-grav gymnasium.
No, or an actual game of Parisi Squares.
Yeah.
Which is the big game on the
And
Enterprise.
There's the super basic sick bay. They don't really figure it out until I think the second or third season. It's always changing just a little bit. Boy, her hair
But Captain Picard
looks more like wood with poorly, with a poor polish on it or something. Use a little bit of Old English to polish that up.
I actually think for these re-releases they color correct her hair. Because on the DVD it's like friggin' clown shoes red.
I actually think that's a wig.
I think you're right. I think later on it's a real hair. But now I am one of these weirdos that actually prefers Pilastri to Crusher.
Well, Pulaski was a disassociated doctor. She just went in, did her job, and left.
Tasha, you were the counselor.
Dr. Crusher always said, "No, I think this is wrong. Screw your orders. I'm going to do it anyway." Which would get you fired so many times over.
Star Trek is really good with their choices of doctor, though, because they're all doctors you would, be comfortable going to see if you had a problem. Even Phlox.
So Scooby-Doo and the gang has separated.
Yeah.
Walk slowly.
Half of them are underground.
Ladies and gentlemen, Geordie LaForge. All right.
Troy's obviously Daphne.
Troy's Daphne.
But
I could see that.
yeah, but Tasha's not Velma.
Yeah.
Who's Scooby? Data.
Yeah. Ruh-roh.
Somebody want a data stack?
What would a data snack look like? Well, he eats regular human food, doesn't he?
They did a great episode halfway through the first season where they beam onto a freighter. Oh, it's the same episode where they introduced the Klingons. And you can see what Geordi sees.
Yeah.
We need you to make the poopy face again, Troy. Please open your mind.
We need more information.
Do it. Open it up.
Do it now.
There's the
Get out of the hole.
The dissociated stare.
Oh, it's a turtle head coming out of me sideways, Commander.
It's a bit nutty.
Sweet Jesus.
Oh, Riker does not want to miss this, so he beamed in to see the turtle head. Wait, everybody step back. I need to see this for myself. We used to date. She's comfortable with me.
Unhappiness. Terrible despair.
That's how we all feel, honey, during your first interview. Unhappiness, total despair.
Like there's a freaking sheer edge.
And notice how Tasha's right there. She's like, I'll help you.
Yeah.
It's okay.
No material I recognize, sir. Or even heard of.
I've heard of a lot of material.
What I'll continue to say in a lot of episodes, the Data and LaForge team they really multiply off of each other. I love it.
Now, Geordi had yet to fall into his character. It's like he would rarely escalate any situation. Geordi is the de-escalator.
Yeah.
His catchphrase is,
Children are not allowed on the bridge.
"Whoa! Hey, slow down!"
Yep. Yeah.
And from here on out, the bridge is penis.
Yes, that's right.
Children are not allowed on the penis. Very good.
Captain. Sir, my son is not on the bridge. He merely accompanied me on the turbo lift.
Break eye contact, Wesley. Break eye contact! Ugh.
His name's Wesley.
So a creepy thing that they kind of pointed out that Picard, instead of taking Jack Crusher to the hospital, delivered the body of Dr. Crusher's dead husband directly to their doorstep.
That might have been what he was instructed to do.
Odd instructions for any time period.
I mean, by Jack Crusher, I'm saying.
Ah. Well, I don't know. Jem, you're my wife. How do you feel if my boss came delivering my corpse to the doorstep? Wouldn't that be just a little bit upsetting?
A little bit.
Yeah, the center director for the hospital just says,
well,
here you
And
go.
I'm like, I don't know who the hell you are.
Well, let's put a spin on that. Say you're the three of you and maybe his boss's wife all become really, really good friends.
Okay.
Like, that's your whole social circle, is the two of you and Sasha's boss and his wife.
You can call me and say, I'm sorry, your husband is at the hospital. We're all here right now.
But no, wait. So you're all out camping. You're all out on a hike. And Sasha gets bitten by a snake and he dies. So his boss drags the body off the mountain. And it's like, because cell phones don't work. And he's like, I'm sorry, Jem. Sasha died on the mountain. He got bitten by a snake.
So when George died, did your mom deliver George to
his wife?
Well, no. He got lifted to Harborview first.
This is getting ridiculous.
Yeah.
Hey, so we're watching a television show.
That's the situation, as I imagine that it was, is that he was really good. He was really, really good friends with the Crushers. Something happened to Jack Crusher. He brought the body back. And it was super awkward. Mm-hmm. And he hasn't seen them since that happened.
Oh.
Like,
sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, so Beverly has been telling Wesley all his life, like, how did my dad die? Well, when you were really little, he and Jean-Luc Picard were out on this mission, and he died, and Picard brought the body back. And it's like, well, who's Jean-Luc Picard? Well, don't worry about it. He hasn't called or written or anything, and then they get assigned to the ship.
Which would make your teen years a little awkward.
Yeah.
So you're the guy who knew my dad.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they're basically being soldiers, right? You know, don't leave a dead body out at war, so, you know, your buddy...
No man left behind.
Yeah.
Right. It's a donut in space!
Donut.
Reminds me of the ass flag from Community.
Yes. The buttholes.
Shields up, sir. Phasers ready.
They don't know what it is. They might kill it.
Let's give its anus a tickle. Prepare for the hamster maneuver.
The hamster maneuver. That's a new one. I like it. So Picard is sitting down, looking very serious.
At the butthole.
Get me Groveler's on. And continue universal greetings on all frequencies.
Say hello to the butt.
I'm sorry, Groveler's Zorn is busy screaming at a stain on the wall.
Ship scheduled to arrive until
I asked you in your new ways.
Is it the Ferengi?
You mentioned the Ferengi Alliance to me.
Yeah, that's a story arc that went nowhere. They spent maybe about 5, 6, 7 episodes building the Ferengi up, and then we finally see the Ferengi in, I think, episode 4 or 5. And
it ain't that exciting, folks.
Yeah.
They got whips. Amazing blue whips.
No chains.
They quickly, as soon as they introduced the Ferengi, they said, oh, bad idea. And then they started talking about Romulans.
Oh, yeah, they did some stuff there for the
remaster.
Yeah, you can really tell.
Here's the hubcap from our Pontiac.
Don't look directly into the purple.
Scanning you.
Cue the red light. Oh, we gotta change the bulb.
Sensors say we were just scanned, sir.
Scanned pan. Oh, wow, that shot was not on the original.
Really?
No.
The sky down?
No, I know it wasn't in that.
So, I don't really know why they're down there, but they are.
They're trying to figure out why Troy had the poopies.
Yes.
Well, she gets more poopies when she goes downstairs.
Want us to be in touch with our ship.
Yeah.
Come on, let's
That's
get
too
this.
bad. That gotta be, one time. It's like, alright, you're not a giver, you're a receiver. I get it.
Catcher, not a pitcher.
No
Yeah.
computer record of any such vessel.
I'd
sir.
much rather be the
Not
umpire.
even close.
Still no response, sir.
Guess I would be the cameraman.
Yeah.
No, the director. You're doing it wrong!
Sensor scans, Mr. Wolf.
Scan again!
Our sensor signals just...
Use the Picard maneuver!
Something's happening, sir.
Oh, action.
Pew pew pew!
I'm on Farpoint, sir. Bring proton torpedoes to ready. Wait, sir.
They're always preparing the weapons. I remember one episode they loaded the torpedo bays like 4 times.
Yeah, that shot of the ship fired, that was new.
Yeah, I don't remember seeing it fire before.
So they are blowing up the set. I like the wet wall there.
Those stairs were
So these sets here, Jem, they call it, what is it? Planet Doom? No, Planet X?
I don't know.
I can't remember the name
answer
they
that
call the
question.
set. It's killing me.
It's something similar.
Planet Hell, that's what they call it.
Ah.
Because, not so much because it can replicate a lot of different off-ship sets, but mostly because it was hot, it was stinky. They always used the same pile of sand, and the lot cats would pee in the sand.
Oh.
And I remember some of the cast members saying in interviews how everything always smelled of cat urine on these sets.
God, that would suck.
Oh,
Cat
yeah.
urine is just the worst smell.
So Deanna started to feel some feels for Commander, and Commander's like, nope, don't feel the feels, and she snapped right back into attention.
What is he talking
My little
into the-
window! My little window!
Enterprise helper, please!
Tune that down.
Thank you.
Commander Riker, come in. Can you hear me?
I just thank Picard for telling me.
Commander Riker, can you hear me?
A great shot. I've seen that in the promos as a kid.
Commander Riker, come in. Where are you? With data on the edge of the old city, sir.
They're watching the old city get blown up.
Blow it up.
Hey, she was
Blew it
back from the bathroom already. Did she use the 3 seashells?
It's from an unidentified...
She's like, how am I supposed to sit down in this skirt? I really don't know.
That's what I was looking at too, but I wasn't asking that question.
Very powerful. Understand, Commander?
That's a big pot.
Your captain ordering a clearly illegal kidnapping. No objection, sir. Doppler Zorn may have the answers we need.
So during combat, they're not going to intervene. They're just going to kidnap somebody.
So, Groplazon, that's a stupid name, isn't it?
They're forcing a very difficult decision on me, Counselor.
But I doubt protecting the family would violate the Prime Directive.
The Prime Directive.
Oh,
It's crime.
Amidst of diplomatic discussions with them.
the Prime Directive has so many different applications in the show. It's a apocryphal directive.
Typical. So typical.
Q is back!
Life won't never follow even.
Back again.
Is Worf on the bridge right now? No, he's not. Because it's like, now's the time for Worf to shoot him.
Yeah.
He's not in the view screen.
Get off my penis!
That were about phasing.
Standing by on phasers, Captain.
Please don't let me interfere. Use your weapon. With no idea.
I've got a hat.
My order was
A hatty, hatty hat.
safety precaution. Really? No idea what it represents.
Oh, you can see the stage in the back corner there?
Ha! Yeah,
Not
yeah,
the
yeah.
view screen?
Primate faces.
Too bad we can't see the widescreen version of this. They'll never release it because
No.
even though it was filmed in widescreen, the shots were not established for widescreen.
Yeah, Captain.
So you would always see that guy smoking a cigarette or eating a sandwich or holding the door.
I'm not trained in clear thinking. Let's consider your thoughts. You call us savages, and yet you knew those people down there were going to be killed. It is your conduct that is uncivilized. Sir, we're firing on the planet again.
That's a really...
There's work.
Yeah, that's a really, like... What's civilized and what isn't is a really, like, British colonial, like, idea. I mean, it's funny because Picard, as far as ideas about a lot of stuff, kind of skipped So we're in the 24th century. So he basically skipped the 19th, or no, he skipped the 20th, 21st, 22nd, 23rd centuries.
Yeah.
And he is a very 19th century man.
There's Data.
That was an epic setup right there.
Abs of steel. Literally.
Literally, yeah.
See, he's a robot. A robot!
All
Oh.
systems operating.
That would
Data's so
actually
cool.
be, if they ever come out with a CGI Data, like some stuff that he could do is like, use his fingers as scissors. And...
I'd love to see him just plug his finger into a console and absorb information.
Lost! Lost it is! My home! My precious!
You supervised all banding contact with other worlds.
We've done nothing wrong.
And if we can learn nothing from you, we'll leave.
No, please, don't
Oh.
leave.
This guy is hopeless. Diarrhea face! I make that sound when I poop.
Yeah.
Oh, done!
Zoran went all purple.
He made the poop found. What? Sound. Talking. Malfunctioning. Reloading. There we go.
None of you knows who transported him. You're running out of time, Captain.
Uh-oh. Running out of time. The tables have turned. Everyone's positive all of a sudden. Hey, she doesn't have to poop. She's smiling.
Same sources before.
And Q
It
does not
turned
look
out
happy.
it was a kidney stone.
Such a dullard, isn't it?
Was about the size of a wisdom tooth. It was quite horrible.
Excellent also. Perhaps with more of these little minds helping.
That is enough, damn it.
Have you forgotten that we have an agreement? An agreement which you are at this moment breaking.
Oh, this is the first time Riker sees Q in the show.
Yep.
Decisions.
Hey, I saw you
What would you think? Oh well, no, he saw the video of Q though.
True, but in person.
Yeah.
And he may not even be there. That might have been a over-the-shoulder shot there.
Yeah.
Well, no, they just changed the focus.
So little, and it's so necessary if you're to solve all this. Beam over there with your, what do you call it? Your away team.
Why is everybody standing on the
You
bridge?
should already know what
Paying
you'll find
attention to
there.
him.
Perhaps it's too
There has to be at least one guy who's looking at his station.
With all respect, Captain, I want to beam over there. You shall promise, my good fellow.
Have you understood any part of what he's trying to tell you? Humanity is no longer a savage race.
But you must still prove that.
Show me the empirical data.
That was unnecessarily flashy, no pun intended.
At least
If you look at the Q flashes in the later episodes versus the Q flashes in the first episode, I think they shaved a solid second off of it.
Yeah.
Where will you go from there?
I'll attend to my duty.
To the bitter end. I see nothing so bitter about
So down with the
Yeah.
ship captain.
Now that I've watched this episode so many times, it's in succession. It really is pretty good.
It can be. There's nuance in it. You kind of see the seeds of all the characters' intentions.
cold blood.
Why would I ever think that?
Look, you can see stars in her office.
Professional. I made you come to me on the bridge and yell at your son.
Not that I care, but seem to irritate you.
You just seem to have a very good grasp of starship operations.
You've just won this mother's heart, Captain.
It's very kind of you to
But,
say.
no, you're...
I want to flirt with you, so I'm going to talk to you about your son.
Consider and approve the transfer form.
Oh.
It's really insensitive.
Is he unqualified?
Hardly.
You might want to transfer because of our history.
And you must object to me personally.
I'm trying to be considerate of your feelings, Doctor. You two work with a commanding officer who will continue to remind you of a terrible personal
Tragedy.
If I had had any objections to serving with you, I wouldn't have requested this.
So I wonder who does the HR on a starship. So you have Riker, who's in charge of all the job duties and stations. But then you have the reviews, the hiring, the termination.
Well, they get into that in that
career.
Lower Decks episode.
Yeah.
It's Riker and I was gonna say it's Riker, Troy, and Worf that sit there and do all that.
There you go.
I may be wrong about Worf, but I know Riker and Troy do all the crew evaluation.
Thank you.
He's like, yeah, thank you.
I'm looking forward to getting to Lower Decks, I tell you what. That's one of the best and least talked about episodes of Next Gen.
Well, it takes the whole show and puts it on upside down.
Yeah.
So the show would be about the transporter operator instead of the away team. Like, where are they going? They just asked me to beam these people to a spaceship where I think they might die. Look at the scale. And it's casting a shadow, too. Beautiful.
As he faced the sun, it cast no shadow. So, Farpoint can't wait. They know it's too late, 'cause the maid is up there.
You know, I'm really surprised that they didn't first think, why are we back on the planet?
Yeah.
It's like, with all the things that go wrong with this shit, with the transporters. Oh, Data's looking angry. This is her wall face.
Yeah.
She gets 2 black streaks under
No.
Troy's like, can I help her? Can I help you with this? Tasha, I'm here.
Most intriguing again, sir.
Here, Troy, look at all the emojis on my iPhone.
Yeah.
Which one are you now?
But the home of those who constructed.
She's even tried to raise her lip there on the left side.
Trying to do an Elvis lip there.
My dog makes that face when the mailman comes. It's like,
Got a mailman hating dog.
Well, actually, no. My dog loves the mailman a little too much. Oh, there's the truck stop lieutenant there in the back. We picked her up from the dam.
Yeah. We built this city.
This is nothing like
It's rock and roll.
Now, the really cool effect, and I don't know if it's in the original DVD, but when they discover Groppler Zorn, you can see the reflections of the Way Team in the force field.
Ah.
Boy, how many times can they walk across the same exact stage?
Different lighting. Those boots are made for walking, Troy. It's just what they do.
There it is.
Oh, the pain! The whole of the pain!
Yeah, see, there are the reflections.
Nice.
It's kind of cool.
Dr. Smith in there.
He's gone plaid!
Zorn, can you hear me?
Oh.
Has the alien communicated?
Well, I would call that communication.
Yeah.
You're being tortured by electricity.
Let's try a Fibonacci number sequence and see if it responds.
It's not true. He does know.
Fibonacci was their go-to before they figured out how to reverse polarity.
Then we had the remodulate.
Oh!
There's
I
a...
fell on this comfy bed. Oh, why?
Oh, they made the ship angry. I love Worf. He's always so animated. He'll stand up. He'll point. He'll posture. Stand up. You know you want to, Worf. Oh, he's looking for his boss. Make sure it's okay.
Come in.
I like Q with his Caesar-esque like hairdo there. He just needs a crown of olives.
Yeah, that would be cool.
In trouble.
Does he ever do that? Just wear a laurel leaf? Or, I mean...
He does not, but he would rock Caesar
Yeah.
very well.
Everybody.
He's got that debonair attitude.
That would actually be a cool opening to an episode, is Picard having a dream that he's like storming the Romulan Senate and killing everybody.
Whatever you say.
And that Q's there. To Jean-Luc.
They've gone purple too.
You'll do whatever I say.
Reunited and it feels so good.
The agreement is invalid, sir.
How did you know that? The agreement was made before you were beamed over.
It was that which sent us back, Captain.
Yes, sir. It is not merely a vessel. Somehow it is alive.
Her hair is so frizzy. It must have rained the day before.
Ready. No, do nothing he demands.
Captain, that thing was killing my people.
Was it a reason?
People!
It's an unknown, Captain.
Life forms.
Precious little
life forms.
Wasted
Where
evidence.
are you?
Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun.
Did you know the tunnels you have on the Farpoint proper?
Identical to those on the space vessel life form over there.
Space vessel,
I
life
look
form,
sexier than cute
five
right now.
form, pipe form,
Another creature.
diggity doggy die
We've done
form.
nothing wrong. It was injured. We helped it.
With your abundant geothermal energy, you fed this alien and made it build a space station on its back. Now its gigantic space alien boyfriend has come looking to see what's going
It has
down.
to be conceivable that somewhere in this galaxy
He's
there
here to
exists
rescue
creatures
them.
able to convert energy into matter.
And into specific patterns of matter, just as
Patterns of matter.
And
Matter
your,
patterns.
and your replicators and your holodeck.
If I ever get a dog,
Hey,
that's what
everybody
I'm going
stare
to name
now.
it. Matter pattern.
Stare at the hole.
Starfish in space, flipping coins like a tailhead nonsense.
They do a lot of staring in this episode, don't they? Stop and stare at the green screen.
Now, if I was the director, I would find a really goofy poster like the Mother Teresa in a compromising position, and I'd hold that up for everyone to stare at. It's like, everyone look at Mother Teresa, just so they wouldn't look at the camera.
And it just grew tentacles. Now jellyfish.
I made that out of a mop head once.
Please, if my mom finds out I've been watching hentai, she's going to cancel my Warcraft subscription.
Farpoint space station immediately.
It was a pair of creatures I was sensing. One down there, in grief and pain.
Tell it to MySpace, buddy.
Pain and grief. Oh, hi, Squiddy.
Space station.
But on the Band-Aid. And they're sitting.
Attacking those who are captured.
It's mate. It was all about boyfriends and girlfriends.
Yeah.
That's all it was about. Oh, and there's the boyfriend and girlfriend.
Two squids in love.
Lock it in on Farpoint station.
So I believe they're going to feed
It's too simple a puzzle.
the space station alien thing with some energy.
Feed the kitty.
Let it have whatever it wants to.
And they are energizing the beam.
Bum, 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 bum.
Kind of looks like a transporter beam.
Yep.
We showered the city with light, and thus it was clean on the third day. It arose to meet its mate.
Would you like to know more about mercy? Read the Bible.
Trouble is all.
Actually, I thought you were going to go for a
Yes.
what is it? The Starship Troopers reference? Would you like to know more?
Oh, yeah.
Let the donut form! Take the form of gigantic space mop.
Like, come on, Wolf, keep the camera on it.
Please believe me, we meant no harm to the creature. It was starving for energy.
Which you're
I like his accent, though.
And we did feed it.
But only enough to keep it alive, so that you can force it to shape itself into whatever form you
I would
need.
love to hear an audio encyclopedia of all of the goofy alien accents they try to do in these shows.
Here it comes. Here it comes.
You could have the Klingon.
Oh, you dishonor me!
And
You
here
frivolous
comes the big
toad!
blue tentacle monster.
It's very blue here. In the DVD, it is hardly blue at all. And
Yeah.
we know blue is for boys, kids. And do we know what color is for the ladies?
That actually changed mid-20th century. It used to be pink for boys and blue for girls.
Ah. They are gender stereotyping these mop-head squids.
Yip 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 yip.
That is touching.
Yeah,
I thought that was a sweet
it
moment.
is. I'm just glad they didn't spooge all over the Enterprise as they're flying away.
Things you don't think about when you're 8.
Yeah. Data, you can get out there and just mop that up, right? Yes, sir, Captain. Take Wesley with you.
Cut to the opening scene of Red Dwarf where the guys are painting the side of the ship. Gratitude. Daisy, Daisy. Da 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 da. Oh, wrong sci-fi film. And there they go.
So long, farewell, good tentacle, good night.
Another civilization will make a movie about those two, saving them from a giant probe that is searching the oceans for their spawn. Oh, wait.
Why, Lila?
Life forms for your recreation. If so, you've not provided the best. Leave us. We've passed your little test. Temper will get me dead. Get off my ship. I do so only because it suits me to live.
Yeah, aren't you special?
I love
I
how
will not promise never to appear.
Picard just refuses to be French. Ever.
What if Q had never shown up again? What would we think of him?
We wouldn't think much. He's just another crazy creature like Nagilum,
Yeah.
Black Cloud, or the weird buggy clam things that tried to take over the Federation.
Well,
for
when
one
we get to
episode.
Nagilum, I think it would have made more sense to just have Nagilum be Q.
Yeah, very true.
I mean, so anybody could just retcon it to go, yeah, he made a scary face in space.
But at the end of the day, I had goosebumps watching this as a kid. I felt really happy. Full of adrenaline.
It's funny, like the first line of or the last line of the first episode is kind of like the last line of Calvin Hobbes. It's a magical world, Hobbes, old buddy. Let's go exploring.
There we go. Special guest appearance to Forrest Kelly. Rolling credits.
All right.
Look at that. So, we would like to say thank you for following along. Oh, Jimmy Ortega is Torres. Maybe that's my guy. I'm going to have to do some research.
Yep.
Look at all these hardworking people before they would fast forward through credits and squeeze it off to the corner so you could watch an advertisement. Well, thank you for watching Next Generations, First Generations. I am your host, Sascha Shouties, and
I'm Patrick Delmore.
And our guest star,
Jam!
She is truly outrageous.
You said it before I could.
No.
Husband's privilege, I guess.
Make it so. So we plan to do an episode about once every week or so. Please tune in. We will provide the website. If you have any special requests, please let us know. And again, signing out, Next Generations, First Generation. If you like Next Generation's First Generation, please check out our supporting podcasters. Mark's Mess Podcast, that's all one word, Mark's Mess, which looks at the world of comics, science fiction, and general geekery through the eyes of two children and an adult. Fantasticast at thefantasticast.com, where Steven and Andrew are your guides to Marvel's first family, the Fantastic Four, reviewing each comic from the very beginning. Two True Freaks Network at twotruefreaks.com features these fine podcasts. Weekly Heroics, where they recap episodes such as Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Arrow, and Flash. Mindless Drivel with Scott McGregor, a discussion and review of sci-fi such as Star Wars, American Gods, and random silliness such as bonding over TV memories and nerd dating. And lastly, The Palace of Glittering Delights is a comic, sci-fi, and pop culture review such as Star Wars, Star Trek, and does anyone remember Airwolf? They have that covered along with other fine vintage pop culture podcasts. If you wish to contact Next Generation, First Generation, feel free to contact us at nextgenfirstgenpod@gmail.com. You can find us on Facebook at Next Generation's First Generation Podcast with advanced releases of our episodes. You can find us on iTunes and Libsyn as Next Generation's First Generation, or see our Libsyn.com website at nextgenfirstgen.libsyn.com. Thank you very much for listening, and have a wonderful day.